go. Okay, so for my reading, I went through the Nordic edition of the Horizon Report in Unit 5, and it talked about technology implementations that we can expect in the next 2 to 3 years. So these implementations are artificial intelligence, robotics, adaptive learning technologies, and robotics. And so I thought it was really interesting because I know, like, I currently work in education, but I'm trying to transition into the private sector and business, and I feel like a lot of these things can be used in business. So like mixed reality, especially in adapted learning, would be great for training because, you know, everyone comes in with a different set of skills and different set of knowledge, and that we can use technology to kind of understand where people are coming from, and then we can kind of adapt our learning and our teaching to our students so that they're not feeling like they're wasting time, but also so that they're getting the best experience possible. And I think that really helps us as educators too, because it kind of reduces the amount of time that we have to spend going through each student individually to make sure their needs are being met. And I also thought it was really interesting, they talked about robotics, and currently I teach 6 to 10-year-olds how to code, and they're talking about how robotics, the way you have to program is really teaching kids a problem-solving, creative, critical thinking that we, you know, honestly, I didn't get as a kid. And I think, at least in my experience, teaching kids how to code and how to make robots move and have to think about it step by step by step to get them to do what they want is really, really changing the way that students are learning now. So which one did you read?
Okay, so for myself, I read the 2017 K-12 edition Horizon Report, and that really talks about the acceleration of K-12 tech adoption, and that's divided into 3 different impact trends. So the impact trends are long-term, mid-term, and short-term. And within the long term, they're reaching for goals that are impacting students in a collaborative effort for 5 or more years. And what the Horizon Report was stating is that in order for students to thrive within education, we as teachers need to provide a collaborative environment in order for students to become innovative and to become engaged through authentic experiences. And a lot of those experiences are brought about by and incorporated through STEAM education, which are student-centered lessons that allow students to build critical thinking skills in real-world environments. And also, it allows students to work in a collaborative effort through project-based learning that encourages them to solve problems and use the skills that they have learned in the classroom in order to apply it in real-world contexts or real-world application. The second trend is called the midterm impact trend, which focuses basically on growth and professional development in the classroom. What can we as teachers establish in the classroom in order to build upon student achievement? And one of the ways that the Horizon Report states is by incorporating data systems, because these data systems can empower teachers to make not only data-informed choices in their instruction, but they can use data in order to drive and influence their instruction. For example, within my district, we use a system called DMAC, which analyzes every single question or higher order thinking question by TEAC. And whenever we put an assessment into the DMAC system, it analyzes the areas that are problematic, the areas of focus, and areas of refinement, and areas of flows. And that lets the teacher or the instructor know what areas need development within their instruction and how to drive their instruction initially. And within that system, and also within the multiple technological systems and platforms that we have within our campus, we have professional developments that occur throughout the year in order to help us become better digital citizens, and also to become digitally educated, so we can further educate our students. And these students are not only learning these skills and technological platforms in order to be successful in the classroom, but it's showing students how these innovations and these skills learned in the classroom can empower them to apply it within the real world and within their professional communities. And the last impact is called short-term impact trends, and that's helping teachers to develop goals that impact students between 1 or 2 years. So it's short-term goals, and actually those goals are directed more towards growth, professional growth for teachers and professional growth for students, and that is using STEAM learning or PBLs in order to help enhance student perspectives and exposing them to a wide variety of knowledge and skills so they can apply to real world contexts. And also it touches on coding, allowing students to use technology in order to meet their needs academically, so that they are able to communicate their thoughts through structure and also within the digital workplace.
Yeah, so I really like what you said about it was a DMAX system, and I think that being able to know which TEKs that students are struggling with, that really kind of relates to the adaptive learning, and that maybe we could use adaptive learning platforms to kind of identify what TEKs students are struggling with and be able to use those two systems together to allow students to practice those TEKs that they're struggling with. So I think that would be like really cool to see. And I know that a lot of what we talked about really relates to the INST standards. So we talked about, professional learning and making sure that we know how to use the technology in order to better our students. And then, you mentioned the DMAX system with program evaluation and professional development. And then also, collaborating with each other. So making sure that we're talking to other teachers and other students to make sure that we're sharing our ideas, solving problems, and coming to the best solution from our collaboration.
Sounds good.
All right.